And her conclusion was that the so-called gods that we worship, based on, see, if you get an older text, the ship turns. Because we still have the Judeo-Christian model in our head. So therefore, everything, it's just like I was talking about at the beginning of the thing, based on the psychological aspect of the sister from Mississippi. So Mississippi, because she only was introduced to so anything spiritual by Christianity, that was the only thing that registered. Well, because that is in us, that's like a block or a cancer or something that you see what I'm saying? You see, drug basically. You see, and so therefore everything we do, even though we learn new stuff, it still filters in as the Judeo-Christian thought process. You see. Well, if you go back more ancient, and this is why the Judeo-Christian religion comes in and it rejects everything prior to its inception. And it rejects everything because if you go back, you will find out more of the truth. That the gods in the heaven are the God in the heaven. If you want to say it's gods or the God in the heaven, you'll find out in actuality is the enemy. And not only he's the enemy, he's not the God Almighty. He's only the God of creation. That's why you call him the Creator. You see.
Creation ain't a good thing, though.
No, creation ain't shit. Creation ain't nothing but a prison cell to trap the higher, most ancient spirits in. You must understand this over and over. Yeah. You must develop a hatred for the world around you. This is what's going to save you. This means now you develop the hatred, you don't necessarily have to go kill yourself. Some person say, well, if we do all this, why don't we just kill ourselves? The mystery here is to let the alchemical component of the melanin inside of yourself line up on its own. When this particular stuff inside of you in your central nervous system lines up on its own, it brings on an alchemical death anyway and throws off this physical body. But the ultimate goal is to die. It's the ultimate goal. Some of y'all are saying right now, you know, I'm tired right now, shit. Lay down and shit. And the only reason why you ain't took the plunge is because you've been programmed that that's wrong. Right. And you've been programmed that it's fear on the other side. Right. But like I told you, you ain't seen none of your ancestors trying to beat back the door to get down to the back down to this shit. Some of them don't know your ass since they left here. Can't get in touch with them. Can't do nothing. They don't want to see your ass now. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately we're not related to each other in the physical sense. You see what I'm saying? That's just some foolishness. And all. But one of the keys here is you must develop this particular hatred for the world around you. So that the one way you do that is to throw off the anesthesia. I just get sick of so many black people and all trying to find a niche in what they're going to do to try to bring some pleasure to this bullshit down here. Or what their little pathetic lives and what their career and what I'm going to do and this is me. You don't have shit to do with that. Develop a hatred and all. This is a form of the illumination of getting the latent forces in your body to go to another level is signaling to the mind that you're tired of this shit every day. And when you die, that's it. So that leads us to the other question. You have to have a love for death. You have to fall in love with death. Only till you develop a love for death that you really start to truly live. So that's why the ancient Hemmites had the funerary scenes all around them. When you fall in love with death, then you truly live. You know, they said once you lose it all, that's it. It's in the movie Fight Club. They say you ain't going to do it. You won't be able to do this shit till you hit rock bottom. Final destination. So that's the concept. In the book of the law, it says you should long for death. You should love death. But once you ponder death, then the rest of this shit out here don't mean nothing no more. And so one of the greatest problems ever is to understand death. That's one of the greatest problems ever. We don't understand death. Every day you wake up should be a bad fucking day. Fall in love with death. The book of the law says you should long for death and love for death. Now, what is this talking about here? Now, Allen Boyd Kuhn wrote his book, Lost Light, and he made an observation that other Egyptologists couldn't do, and guess what? I guess that's why his shit ended up being banned and suppressed. And he says the fact stands, they talk about the Egyptians, I want to get this right, the Mark so-and-so, the Egyptians, the fact stands that they did call our life here death. And that what we speak of, when we speak of the dead in the sacred books, that is indubitable that they meant living humans. So in so many words, when they speak of the death in the books, they meant living humans. The word death and the dead are used in the old scriptures, refer to living humanity in earthly embodiment. Now that is some profound shit. We scurrying mortals are the dead. This is some nightmare shit.
Right.
You understand? We sitting up here. I'm not talking about dead in consciousness.
Right.
Truly we are dead in consciousness. That's not what I'm talking about here.
Physical.
What I'm talking about is all this shit we be seeing in these horror movies and in these sci-fi shits. You need to read the scriptures because they ain't got nothing on these scriptures.
Right.
Now they say that the Egyptians were the most illumined people ever to walk the face of the earth, the Africans. They call them a sage race, a teacher race. Okay? A teacher race. Now, the Egyptians said that we scurrying mortals are the dead of the Bible and other sacred books, and the dead spoken up there is the living existence here. You keep buying, and it never brings you happiness, but one of the things you cannot get on top of is what's staring you in the face, is death. Now in the Gospel of Thomas, he said that basically heaven is all around you, but you can't see it because you were spiritually drunk. But on one of the other hands, it's also talking about death. You see, talking about death. So we're not talking about the type of death where you just gotta all go and just drink the grateful Kool-Aid. We're not talking about a cult type affiliation where you go out and kill yourself to get to the kingdom of heaven. What we're talking about here is a process of death that is already happening inside of your body. Inside of your body. A process of death is happening inside of your body. Now, why is this? We're talking about nothing but going to another level of evolution for the simple doggone fact that we understand that every doggone day, that based on the world around us, you must get in your mind over and over again that you shouldn't look for nothing at this particular time. And we're talking about the process of wanting to die. So the fear is to take death and turn it into something to look forward to. Nobody's talking about this kind of shit right now. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't gonna get no motherfucker telling you it's all about death and you need to kill yourself. I'm not talking about kill yourself. I'm talking about a metaphysical process of what you call death. I told you that in the Upanishads it says in the beginning there was death. So which right now, the Upanishads tell you in the beginning there was death. So you ever heard it, in the beginning there was chaos, but Richard can't tell you that melanin is nothing but chaos. The Upanishads tell you that in the beginning there was death. You see what I'm saying? So that means that melanin is death in the body. What do you say? What this shit is crazy. How could this shit be death in the body? It is death of a pre-human ancestor that now is in the physical body. When it came into the newly physical body, it became a dead substance as far as it is death in the physical body, or it is death in this particular dimension, what you call this particular universe, which is the day side, or what is called the solar side. But that which is dead is just lying. It is something that was from a prior world, which in actuality will be the future when it regenerates. You see? So it's undead. That's why they got the book Spawn, undead. You see what I'm saying? But it said in the beginning there was death. So we're talking about this death in actuality is this chaotic substance which is the absolute of everything. So if this particular chaotic substance is the absolute of everything, then that means that we need to die to get the real deal juice. Because anything opposite of this particular death realm in actuality is only another illusion. Even the Buddhists, when they came up and the Buddhists say, well, what's in the end? Then the Buddhists, in order to explain the end, just like the Christians and just like any other religion, they have to go to a pre-human origin to explain the end. And the Buddhist says, well, in the end, everything must return back to chaos, and even the God